this is like there's more than one bird here to capture. It's not only your study, but your ability to understand all the other literature that you're reading. So you want to ask a few questions around the literature, including who wrote it, who funded it, and what was the motivation behind it. Okay, what was the particular bias? So, in other words, was this study on nicotine use and the effects of tobacco? And is this being done by the company that's selling us the tobacco, or is this an independent researcher? So understanding the funding and who was the researcher and so forth is important information. Also understanding whether the document was peer-reviewed. That means other experts in the field have reviewed the research for soundness, for the way in which it's presented, and the objectiveness or the reflexivity in a case of a qualitative study, and how well that has been documented in terms of understanding the lens that the data has been looked at through. All right, so read it like a lab report. Ask yourself, okay, what's the research question? I know some of you are probably going to be sick of me asking you that, but if you leave this class and have a solid research question, you're going to be halfway home with starting your thesis, because it'll be nice and focused. A few of you still had your research question too large. You want to make it smaller and more specific to a particular population. Then look for the hypothesis. If there's not a hypothesis and it's a qualitative study, who can tell me what you should be looking for then? Donna.
What was the purpose of the research?
Well, you should you should look for the purpose and the problem, but you also want to look for those sub-questions. Qualitative study will have some sub-questions. They'll have that central research question, but they'll have some additional sub-questions too. Determine the method, the results, and the discussion. Remember the results should be, and this is the same when you were doing your study, the results should be an objective presentation of the data. The discussion is where its interpretation occurs. And so for you guys, that would be your chapter 5. All right, let's, we're going to use a chat box for this. So let's take on this first one, and you'll put an A or a B in there. We're going to look in a study to investigate a link between the MMR vaccine and autism. The principal investigator happened to have a patent pending on an alternative to the MMR vaccine. Does this suggest sound research? All right, very good. Everybody got that one right. A condition of bias may exist. All right. 2, a study conducted to determine which of 2 reading programs was the most effective was conducted by the publisher of the one program. All right, good. Condition of bias may exist. That's true. Make sure I didn't get ahead of myself here. All right, now there is a document in the templates folder, and I want to tell you exactly where it is so nobody gets mixed up. There are actually 2 documents, and if you will open up to your templates and documents link, you will see 2 templates. One template will look similar to this one that's displayed here, except that it has a little more information. It's asking you some things about identifying the method and the sample size and so forth. And the second one is going to look like this matrix, which we talked about last class period. I am going to ask you for assignment 8 to take the 8 articles, a minimum of 8 articles, and dissect them. And by dissect them, I mean I will want you to go back and to determine everything that's right here. Whoops, let me see if I can get the pen to work. Okay, so I want you to make sure you can find all that information. Now, then what you will do for A9 is do a template here that shows the authors down one line and the themes that emerge, or the important discussion points, things that you found that the researcher is stating, and then look for commonalities. So then when you begin your A10, which is actually trying to demonstrate the writing of the narrative, you'll be able to write thematically. All right, does anybody have any questions about these two documents? Donna, go ahead. Sarah, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So when you want us to dissect that for the A8, are we using that, is the format, that little chart that you have now with your slide that says I have a stack of articles on my topic, now what? Or will we have a different format?
Yeah, well, the format is roughly the same, but up here in this top box right here on the form that you guys have, it's a little nicer.
Okay. I think I found that one, but
we'll have some of those other breakdowns.
Okay. Thank you.
And, yeah, just turn, everybody, I just want you to turn it in on the form. Okay, so don't make it hard for yourself. Just turn it in on the form.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Rebecca, let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can find the exact title. Under templates for developing your literature review, you will find several documents. You'll find the thematic matrix template, okay? And you'll find the bibliographic data organizing information from resources, okay? Does that help? All right, any other questions? Sarah, do you have another question? Thank you, Rebecca. Sarah, did you want to ask another question? Okay, all right, good. Let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, let's answer this. Having a method of recording and sorting content articles will make the process of writing a thematic lit review easier. A or B? Absolutely. And now I want to share this with you, that people have different methods, okay? And that's okay. For this assignment, for this class, I want you to use those formats because it's a way for me to try to assess the process of your thinking and how you're dissecting things. But some of you are going to have a few different intricate methods that you may have individually that work for you with research. You know, I can think back of using index cards. So we have better tools now with electronic tools at our disposal. So in terms of sorting and keeping things in place, I want to mention again that you have some kind of bibliographic software that you use to help keep track of the resources. There's nothing worse than getting through this class starting 2 or 3 months later during the summer to get yourself ready for ED 632, and you can't find that last article that you talked about. It was a great article, and you're ready to turn your proposal into your chair. So I can't encourage you enough to have a bibliographic software too as part of this plan for recording. All right, so what's the answer to number 4? Using these 2 forms are required for completion of assignments in this course. Yes. Number 5, using these 2 forms are required for completion of your thesis. Exactly. You do not have to insert documents in this format in your thesis, okay? But it's a learning tool for me to help you to make sure you're dissecting literature in an effective manner. All right. I'm sorry, my mouse is it's a little lazy tonight. We're going to start with